Hello and welcome to Carved in Stone. I'm your host, Shawn Chabam, and unfortunately, things are back to normal in the Philadelphia sports world. We had some good times, but reality has reared its ugly head like a brotherly punch to the gut. As the Eagles are out of the playoffs, the Phillies lost their best big game pitcher and missed out on a stud free agent. The Flyers have been brought back down to earth, and I ignored it for a while on the show, but the Union watched the majority of the MLS playoffs from the couch despite winning the Supporters' Shield. I'll dive deeper into each of those things here on episode 11.5. Were all the recent successes just part of an elaborate dream? If so, why'd you wake me? I'm going to start with the Eagles, who failed to defend their Super Bowl title and were eliminated by the San Francisco 49ers in the wild card round of the NFL playoffs, despite having home field advantage. San Fran got demolished the following week, but that's neither here nor there. To tell you the truth, this loss didn't sting as much as it probably could have, given the Birds were NFC East champs and one season removed from hoisting the Lombardi. See, I had conceded weeks ago that this team wasn't repeating. I don't really want to get into specifics, not because I have a hard time reliving this loss, but because I already did an entire episode on what a moron the now former offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo is. I'll link episode 5 up top on YouTube. If you're watching on another platform, I'll put it in the video description. I'll admit, I thought the defense would carry the Eagles farther, and I definitely didn't think A.J. Brown would drop a number of key passes late in the contest. I had the Eagles losing to the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. I also had the Jacksonville Jaguars beating Seattle in the Super Bowl, so I didn't exactly make great picks this season. That said, I always find it easier to handle a postseason exit the earlier it happens, especially in football, which is why I said it doesn't sting as much as it could have. Since football is one and done, if I'm expecting my team to go far or even win at all, then suddenly they lose, there's no time to mentally prepare for that, and the feeling of excitement is instantly ripped away, whereas in hockey and baseball, you can see it coming in a series. Even if it goes to the final game of a series, you know your team can lose because they already have. In football, you don't have that time, so for me, it usually stings harder. This year, since I didn't expect the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, it sucked a lot less. I know that despite picking them to lose in the conference championship, if they had made it that far, I would have slowly started building confidence and believing they could pull it off. I didn't have that heartbreak, but it still qualifies as a gut punch, given the assumed success they'd have this year following a title run last year. From the link to the bank, across the street, the Phillies managed to give us a gut punch despite not being in season, and then the Mets kicked us while we were down. The Phil's best big game pitcher, Ranger Suarez, signed with the Boston Red Sox, but don't worry, Fightins fans, we get to watch Aaron Nola and his 6.01 ERA through 2030. I've always thought that if I had one game to win, I want Suarez on the hill. And yes, I know Zach Wheeler exists. In a clutch situation, I think Suarez is the man. Let me be clear as I talk about this disappointment. I don't blame Suarez for jumping ship and taking a $130 million deal over 5 years with Boston. The Phillies wouldn't give him what he was worth, so Suarez left for greener pastures as anybody would. As if losing Suarez wasn't bad enough, the Phils had reportedly had good talks with free agent infielder Bo Bichette. Allegedly, they were fairly close to closing a 7-year deal with him, and then in swoops the team we hate the most, or at least I do, the New York Mets, who signed him to a much shorter 3-year deal worth $126 million. We were discussing in my fantasy football group chat that Bichette likely wanted the shorter deal so he could turn around and get in on the money 3 years from now when the market is even higher, making the Phillies' long-term deal far less attractive. If a bunch of random dudes can understand that, why can't Dave Dombrowski? He proceeded to panic and re-sign catcher JT Realmuto, who will be 35 years old at the start of the 2026 season, to a 3-year deal. Yeah, a 35-year-old catcher just got 3 years. Look, I like JT, and why not get what they'll give you? If you're him, do it. But there comes a time when you have to say, this guy is too old to sign for this long, no matter how much you like him. Particularly as a catcher, he could be one injury away from retirement. Before I move to the next team, let me tell you, I don't give a crap about the money any of these guys get paid in baseball. They could pay them $1 billion for all I care. The only reason I do care in other sports is because of salary caps. Baseball doesn't have one. I bring up money for reference. What I do care about is the lengths of the contracts. The Phils failed to keep Suarez. They're stuck with Nola and Realmuto, and they can't figure out that younger guys may not want that long contract so they can make more money down the road. Continuing our way around the sports complexes, of all the teams who have been our saving grace this season, it's been the Flyers. Only not lately. Losers now of 6 of their last 7, they no longer look like a playoff team, but rather the rebuilding team they were supposed to be entering this year. They did win Monday night against the Vegas Golden Knights, and kudos to Sam Ersson, who I'm about to crap on in a minute. The Flyers are behind in the postseason race, and injuries are piling up. I said earlier in the season that I wanted to see goalie Dan Vladar play a full season as the number 1 starter before I anointed him the guy. To clarify, I do think he has the talent to be the guy in net. The problem is, I wanted to wait a year because I didn't know if he had the stamina or the ability to stay healthy, and lo and behold, he suffered an injury last week and had to come out of a game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. He was originally considered day-to-day, but was moved to injured reserve on Monday. Sam Ersson went in net and sucked so bad that Alexei Kolosov came up from the Phantoms to start against the New York Rangers. And somehow, Kolosov sucked even more. He gave up 3 quick goals on 3 shots and was instantly pulled in favor of Ersson. Also on Saturday, Rodrigo Abels suffered an injury. I'm not a medical expert, but I know you're not supposed to bend that way. I think he seriously hurt his ankle. Abels is now on injured reserve. He was supposed to play for Latvia in the Olympics, so I hope I'm wrong and he can heal up quick. I know representing his country in the Olympics means a lot to him. Forward Bobby Brink just came back from injured reserve, while defenseman Rasmus Ristolainen just went back on it. Tyson Forster is also out the remainder of the regular season. His absence is killing them. Matvei Michkov hasn't been playing up to his potential, although he has been showing some fight. In fact, he actually dropped the gloves against the Pittsburgh Penguins last week for his first NHL tilt. Trevor Zegras, on the other hand, is playing lights out. Trading for him is easily the best move Daniel Briere has made as Flyers GM thus far. Very quickly, because this happened several months ago, but I never mentioned it on the show, the Union gave us a gut punch, getting eliminated by New York FC in the second round of the MLS playoffs in 2025. I truly thought they were poised to win the MLS Cup this past season. The gut punch was felt particularly hard because the Union outplayed NYFC for the vast majority of the game. New York came out quick and scored in the 27th minute. After that, it looked like it was just a matter of time before the Union would level the score, but NYFC goalie Matt Freese, who used to play for the Union, played out of his mind and stopped everything thrown his way en route to a clean sheet. It hurt worse because it was a former Union player who crushed their dreams. The Union didn't choke. Freese played incredibly well. Sometimes you have to give props to the other side rather than just placing all the blame on your guys. NYFC would not go on to hoist the cup, by the way. That honor went to Inter Miami. I don't watch the NBA, so apologies if you were looking for Sixers commentary. You won't get that here. This podcast is not endorsed, sponsored by, or affiliated with the Philadelphia Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Unions, or 76ers, the NFL, MLB, NHL, MLS, NBA, any aforementioned athletes, or any of their properties. Images are sourced from Wikimedia Commons unless otherwise indicated under appropriate licensing. Team logos are used under fair use. That does it for today. I hope you didn't enjoy, because I didn't, but maybe I gave you something to think about as far as the current state of Philly sports. I could have gone much more into detail, and maybe I will another day. Today was more about airing my frustrations. Thanks to the Flyers for helping me out with that a little bit, breaking their own 6 game losing streak and snapping the Golden Knights' 7 game winning streak. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time. Go Birds!